Hello guys, my name is NaToSaphiX. Today we have another video, and this time it is another episode of the FACEIT cheat code, this time on the NUKE. I know, it's not the most played map on FACEIT, but I kind of have to make this video now for myself. Yesterday on my Twitch stream, a link in the description by the way, I was playing NUKE, and we honestly had a very comfortable lead and so on, but then when we went into the CT side, everything went to shit. And this is the same thing that I see over and over again. It's the number one mistake that people just keep making, and they don't understand how to do it properly. It is literally the only reason I ever lose NUKE. And so if my team would start understanding this, my NUKE matches would be way more enjoyable. Not just for me, but for everyone. But also it would probably, make the chance of me winning and you winning a lot higher. So we'll go through the positions one by one, because that's honestly the biggest issue on NUKE. We'll start by ramp. Ramp basically has like four things that you can do. You can either play in a position where you get info, and then you play for the drop. Then you go down B and you take like a different position down here. And that way you're still blocking the B-bomb side. That's like quite common. But it's not something you should do every single round, because if a good player recognizes that, what they might just do is every round come, take like a few shots, they know you drop down, now you give up ramp, someone has to rotate, now inner is weaker, and then they go inner, for example. So don't play for the drop every round, but it's a lot of the times a very strong decision. It's also nice if you can tell your like rotator, hey, I'm playing for the drop, or something. Another possibility is obviously you play like left side, or even like some sort of weird off angle, like this or something. What those angles will do is you're pretty committed. You have no way to rotate basically. So you're not playing for the drop. You're playing to kill two guys, because one is probably not gonna be enough for your team. And that's basically it. You're like committed. Then there's obviously the possibility that you push. You can do it with nades, you can do it with a teammate, you can also just do it on timing. And then the last thing is, let's say you have been like, actually there's kind of a fifth. You can also play it like this, where you play like with nades, so you hold like a mini gap, then you have Muller out, when you see someone come through you just do this, Muller like that, and then you jump up here for example, or you can do it with smoke. That's like Thesis, kind of. So Thesis from Heroic, he plays a lot like this, or at least it's the name I use to describe this way of playing. Then there's also, let's say they haven't been using ramp a lot, you can maybe be jiggle peeking here or something. When your teammates say like they do wall of smokes outside or something like that, then you could potentially, or like let's say they say they're fighting many outside or something, what you could do is smoke ramp and then leave ramp and then go and help your teammates by playing under heaven. Not many people will just randomly walk through this ramp smoke, and if you know that there's like 3 or 4 guys outside, it could be quite nice to do sometimes, but it's a little bit risky in a FACEIT puck because people are more likely to just walk through a random smoke. There's also actually a 6th way, kind of, where you just run and start secret immediately, but it's typically done by a rotator player or your AWP more than the ramp player. So yeah, that's it. So that's one position. One position is ramp. I'm gonna write that in chat here. Ramp, okay? Next position we're going to be talking about is hot/floor/A, right? You can call it whatever you like. You can call it hot because you're blocking the hot. You can call it floor because you're playing floor. Or you can call it A because you're the A side anchor, okay? So, what you want to be doing is, you want to be running up the ladder. And quick tip, because I see a lot of people, even like over 2k elo, do this wrong. Don't run straight on the ladder. Like if we look at the timer, there's 3 seconds, now when I'm up, 1 second. And that's even with crouching at the top. That's another tip, by the way. If you crouch at the top, you get sucked onto it, and then you can like just go. But if you look up to the side like this, and hold W and A, or if you look to this side and you hold W and D, you go faster up the ladder. So look at this. And then you can crouch, and then you're out. This is much faster, and a lot of NUKE rounds, especially in pucks, will come down to A rushes. So if you're late on this ladder, it might actually lose you the round. There are 2 places you can muller on A. There is hot, and there's door. The most important thing to Molo is door, because from door they can go and vent. They can, if they smoke main, run out here, and now they have 2 points of entry. If you Molo door and actually block door at the start of the round, which is really key, they can only get through hot, which is like a very small doorway, and it's much easier to deal with them. Plus, you can play behind the silos. When they want to swing out, your teammate can help from CT vent if you block the door. So, discuss with your teammate. If you only have one Molotov, typically use it on door. Just something like that. If you do have double Molo, like both of you have a Molo, you should consider using it on hot also, if you think that there's an A-rush coming. There's like a million angles you can play this from. Some people like this angle, some people like to play here, some people like to play close here, some people like to play top of hot, some people like to play big, which is like jiggling with Molo or smoke like this. Then when you see someone, you throw it here, and now you blocked hot. Pretty smart, because if it's a explosive A round, you cut off like one side of the approach. You can also play like here. It's pretty hard to flash, and it can be nice if they wanna, some tees like take some fights, sneak in here and sit here. So if you try to hold that, that can also be good. It also means if the flash is coming in, they want to do something aggressive A. Typically the first guy is running out like this maybe, and like you would probably kill that guy, then you can take new angle, and yeah. So that's hot, or floor, or A anchor. One thing you gotta know is your teammate who you're playing A side with, he is a rotation player, okay? Almost everyone on this map is a rotation player, but there are like a few key rotations, and your door guy is one of them. So if he leaves the A side, you need to also be ready to play alone A. And that's why you see a lot of people, when the door is naded, for example, when I was playing hot, I like to play this, where you have like off angle on door. So if they come out, you can kill them here. And if they come out hot, you still have like off angle. So it's like, you're holding here, if they come out hot, you can swing fast and kill, basically. There are other ways to play it also, like, you could just, again, sort of jiggle here. And then on timing, like, probably not do a jump, but jiggle left side as well, so you don't get timed, something like that. You could also just play top of hot and keep something smoked. That's maybe for another video. But anyway, you will sometimes be playing the A side alone. So you are the anchor. You are the guy who basically never rotates. And you should basically only rotate if you know that the bomb is being planted on B. That's kind of it. There will obviously be scenarios as well where they can come behind heaven and stuff, but it's just your job to play this bomb site. And like, a good trick, sort of, is that if you know they're taking under heaven, if the T's have all this space and you're worried about getting flanked, you can try to either push hot or door and try to like retake lobby. Because if there are many guys out here under heaven, there will be maximum one lobby. And if you manage to kill him or just get into a good position, now you can play retake on the A bomb site, but you don't die for free, and the T's will be thinking, why is A clear, basically. It's also a little bit difficult for them to plant the bomb. They can't plant front side, so it has to be back side. And that's much harder to defend, typically. So yeah, that's the A anchor. So I write that. Now we have ram, and we have A anchor, yeah? Okay, this is the #1 thing that people fuck up on Nuke. There is a guy who is playing door, and people think he's playing main, but he's not playing main, he's playing door. So, what that means is, your job as the other A player is you need to block this door. Okay, that's why it's called door. And I'm saying it as if you're an idiot. I don't think you are an idiot, but this needs to be literally spelled out, because this is the #1 mistake, okay? It's just as simple as that. People don't understand it, I need to really emphasize it, I need to explain why it's stupid. I see a lot of people, when they play door, they play in main, and then when they hear like Deagle shooting outside, they run out of main, and they try to like fight here. First of all, this is not really a good angle, especially not against Deagles, because they will be holding a lot of angles, maybe like this, and can one DQ of course, but also you're peeking so close to the corner that you're not giving yourself a lot of space. If you're playing something like this, or even something like this, I guess that could work, but still, when you're running across here with a deagle, it's like angles that you're anyway probably pre-aiming, and it's like a little bit disgusting. Plus, a lot of the time in NUKE or on FACEIT pucks, all it takes is just one guy shooting with deagle outside, and then one of the A players leaves the A side to go out here for eco-frags, and then the A player is alone, and now they go out A, and then they kill the one guy on A, you get smoked main, and you actually lose the round to like take 9s or deals or something. And the main player typically also goes out and dies to this deal, so it's pretty crazy. You do have a pretty difficult task. Like, door is one of the sort of star player roles, because you can be a lot of places on the map. And there's like a few key rotations you want to know. What you want to basically be focusing on at the start of every round is making sure that they don't drop vent. So a good team, good players will be smoking here most of the time. And with this you have very little info if they actually go down vent. So it's like a mind game. You can spam through the vent like this, and you'll probably kill them. You can also try to just swing out. This is also why you want this molo from heaven to be kind of deep, because if there's smoke there and you don't molo deep enough, like this needs to land in this corner. That way, if he doesn't go immediately out of the door, basically, you can like, yeah, so if you spam him and he can't go immediately out vent, now there's a time where he's not able to go outdoor, you know, because of the molo. And then you could, for example, smoke the molo in corner here, jump up here, hold it like this or something. There's a few different things you can do. You could also, with the molo, smoke it, walk T-vent. You could also just, again, as I said, play the mind game. You could smoke this and then like reload or something and immediately spam this again, because he might be sneaking late. As soon as this smoke fades, you're pretty much in the clear. So like, your main focus at the start is blocking A. Don't let them get down vent. And if you know that there's a chance they're down vent, just say it. Just say they could be down vent. They don't have to be. You're not freaking your whole team out, but it's very vital information. And if they do go down vent, even if you know there's one down vent, it's rarely a good idea if it's just one guy down to go after him, because if he's waiting for you, you will never win this duel. And there's sort of a rule on NUKE that having just one T down here doesn't really put a lot of pressure. If he can't open a door or can't break a window, the only thing he can do is go up secret, and that's not really that exciting, especially if it's a low money round where he has a Mac 10 maybe. So it's kind of a rule, if he doesn't have the bomb and he's alone down here, he's not that dangerous, basically. Okay. If you are the door guy, and they do outside smokes, if they do the wall of smokes, and they can now be secret, and your teammates don't have info on it. There are like two sort of rotations on this map. There is the vent rotation and the ramp rotation. So, the ramp guy, if let's say they could be down vent, a lot of guys, the ramp rotation will go down and try to block this. He might use some utility, or he will come here and just try to take some fights. Not make it too easy for them to just go out and plant the bomb. Like, let's say he didn't use his molo at the start of the round. He knows that they ran out. He can molo behind the side. There's no place for them to plant. He's buying time, making it difficult for them, basically, right? So, a kind of rule of thumb is, if they can be down vent, you don't go down vent, because they will probably be holding you here, or they will molo the vent. It's not possible. So if they're down vent, ramp is the only one that can make it in time to block them. But it's kind of the same. If there's wall of smokes and no one started secret, you kind of need your door player to rotate in this case, because the ramp guy won't be able to make it into double and block secret before they could be here if they're running. So in the case that it's secret smokes, it's the door guy who has to rotate. And then what should generally happen is that, like, if the door guy rotates, you have either a rifle playing like main, or you have a rifle playing heaven, or you have maybe the orb playing heaven, which is like the more standard thing. And then you have your rifle, like the other rifle playing outside. Then what will happen is, since the orb is playing heaven, Now they could be down secret. Okay, we're only one on A. I need to fill up on A. Maybe he goes here, holds this with orb. Or if he feels like it might be an A hit, he can, you know, drop down on side, hold this. Then the A side anchor kind of takes the door guy's position. Tries to go over in this space. Using his smoke for door, all those kind of things. Another possibility is obviously that the orb drops down. He starts like walking forward, searching door. Also very strong. But at least what you need to realize as the door guy is your job is to block door, make sure they don't go down vent, and you are a lot of the time the important rotation if they smoke secret smokes. You are the one that has to come down here, vent. You can like, if you have a smoke this off for example, or you can molo it first, play headshot angles, you can play some off angles, but your job is pretty complicated. If you're a door player, you might want to watch a demo or two, but just realize that you should, as a door player, almost never be outside. Never ever. It's a big no-no if you go out of main a lot and like fighting out here, because if they kill you, they notice that, oh my god, it's the door player. They know there's only one guy A, and yeah, the round won't end up in your favor, basically. So, focus on blocking door. Make sure they don't go down vent early round. When this smoke fades, keep door smoked if they blew it. Now they cannot go down vent late. If secret smokes come, you should try to go down and block it most of the time. And if they don't go down secret, let's say you, I don't know they're not down secret because there's a gap or something, or for some reason you know that they're not down secret, you want to come back up. When you come back up, ask for a smoke. It's very difficult for you to come out here without a smoke, so you should have this door smoked when you want to come up. That's basically your job. So your job is to block A. It's also, there's actually another thing I want to say. Door is pretty complicated, but like a lot of door players that I see think that main is a position that you play. I talked about this already, but what will naturally happen if you're trying to fight outside and stuff, or just if you're playing in main, holding door like this or something, is one, they can go down vent. They can also go down, like they can go down vent, they can go out T vent. But also, if you play in main, and the T's want to do something explosive on A, what they will always do is smoke main. And now you're on the wrong side of this smoke, and you can't help your guy. And now, again, he's completely alone on A. Then it's like 5 versus 1 on A side. And like, if you just come out T-vent, for example, go here. There's like a lineup molo. This white line, jump throw here. You have molo heaven. This guy is isolated. And there's people coming from here and from here with probably, or possibly at least, flashes and molos hitting him and stuff. It's an awful time. That's why the door player, if you are sort of getting on the wrong side of the main smoke, you've probably made some bad decisions in life. So when this main smoke comes, if you're not playing like CT vent or Tetris or top of hot or like door off angle or something, you have messed up because you're out of position and you're letting them be 5-on-1 on the A-bomb side. So yeah, a lot to talk about with the door guy. That's the main guy who is doing wrong in FACEIT, basically. Then you have also the you have a rifle outside and an orb outside, and they are both sort of rotation roles. They can play a lot of positions, but typically what you want is at least one of them to be blocking outside and the other to be in a position where he can help a lot. So like, I play a lot, both when I'm playing orb and rifle, playing heaven, because when you're heaven, you can help with door, you can help with hot. Not too great, but at least you can also drop down on side. You're actually in position to help if they come A. You can play info on secret like this, if your guy is blocking main. You can obviously play from under heaven as well, if you have orb or something, pretty nice. And you're also very fast rotation to ramp. So this is like the one key position where you can rotate to everything. If you're playing orb, you can hold like an angle like this, or you can, help ramp if need be. You can play under heaven. There's even faster rotation to ramp, because if you hear ramp, you're literally there in like 3 seconds. So with outside, there's kind of three sort of pressure points the T's can abuse. They can go secret, they can go main, and they can go outside, like CT yard. CT yard is like going into garage, going like CT blue, going under heaven, stuff like that. And typically what you want is to find a setup where your 2 outside guys can hold all 3 things together. So like one sort of setup would be having orb heaven, holding like this. This way he's blocking secret and he's blocking under heaven. There is no way they can come here. Then you could, for example, have your guy playing the rain position. Now he's blocking main really hard. If anyone wants to sneak or flash and run into main, they have their backs turned, probably trying to kill the main guy. And then this guy can multi-kill from here. He can also, you know, take a kill, hide, creates a lot of pressure. Another way is that you could play like here, for example, you have this, you can check this on timing maybe. Or you can just sort of play on sound info. It's very unlikely to just walk main. Then you have, as I said, under heaven, you have this main. Your AWP player might be starting like secret, for example. You again have everything blocked. You could have one rifle, for example, playing like Bako, I guess we call it in Danish. Or he could be playing CT blue. It's kind of the same. You can like check outside if there's wall of smokes. Now you can at least hold like main and you hold under heaven at the same time. That's also pretty nice. Then you can have again your orb secret. You can have your orb garage holding this, or just holding behind red. Now he's holding like almost everything under heaven. At least he's holding like garage and secret. Then you, as the rifle rotate, you can play inside main, and probably that's the reason why a lot of door players play main. They see pro games that there is a guy playing main and he's fighting outside and he's like killing these guys, jumping down and stuff. But what they fail to realize that is this is the like star player rifle. This is the rifle rotate who's playing everywhere. This is your electronic, so on. Like this guy will be playing here or behind blue or something. It's not your door player. So if you see a main player who's fighting a lot outside in a pro game, notice that it's most likely not the door player. And that's what people fail to realize. So the rules are a little bit different. If your star player rifle is playing, or like your rotation rifle is playing main, because he can end behind the main smoke and not have fucked up. Because in this case, you should then still have your door player on A and your A player on A. And he can play here. He can like hold garage if he wants to. Maybe he will take a little bit more safe angle. He could also hold like this. It's pretty interesting because when they come out here, this is like a tough angle to clear. It's so late, if you know what I mean. And there's so many angles that can peek you at this moment. There's a ton of ways that this guy can play. But that's basically the rifle rotation's job, is to talk to his AWP player, and the AWP player needs to talk to the rifle rotate. Their job is to block these 3 things: secret, main, and under heaven. And yeah, that's basically it. I think quite of a long episode. I could definitely go into more detail about like just in general how you should play each specific role on NUKE. I've tried to dumb it down a little bit, like simplify it a little bit, because it's not really the purpose of the video to explain super high detail what you have to do and stuff. I still think I got across it pretty well. But the main thing is just understanding that there is a ramp player, a anchor, a door player, an outside rifle rotate, an orb rotate, and that's basically it. So when you're now at the end of this video, I would love for you to like, I'm gonna ask you 5 questions here. What does the ramp player do? What is it his job to block? What possibilities does he have? You can like pause the video now and answer the question. You could type it down. I'm gonna say it real quick. The ramp guy, his main concern sort of is blocking obviously the ramp, but he will also rotate down B and block B in the end. There's a lot of good positions to play from. He can obviously push ramp. He can also leave ramp, where he like smokes off ramp or just leaves it on timing. If he hears that there's a lot of guys outside, he wants to help fighting there. That's kind of his job. His main job is basically get info early or fight to the death, and then drop and block the B bomb side from Ren. That's his main concern. Okay, next question. What does the A anchor do? You can pause again. I'll come with the answer, but it's maybe good practice for you to try it. A anchor, his job is to mainly block hot. As an A anchor, he needs to not let the T's plant on A. That's basically it. He can play a million angles. It's like he doesn't need to, I didn't say this earlier, but he doesn't need to instantly use his smoke on hot and stuff. Typically it's better to, if the T's blow the door, to like, I think I had like a lineup like this or something. A little higher maybe. His job is to like block door with his smokes if the door is blown. It's way more valuable than just smoking hot. So a lot of the time he will save his utility, and there's like a few positions, I think. How did I do this? I think like this as well. Jump throw. Like when I played in Gorillas, I found some safe positions you can smoke from for door. But he typically will hold his utility because, yeah, with the Molo late you can block hot good enough, and the smoke is more valuable door. I can cover that in another video again. But yeah, the A guy's job is to block A, and yeah, that's about it, basically. Again, door, what does he do? I'm gonna ask you the same question, you can take a pause again. His job is to, at the start of rounds, block door and block vent drop. If he manages that, then he should keep blocking door with smokes, and like, it's probably also his job to say, my door smoke is fading, I need another one, then maybe the orb is heaven. I show you one real quick. I think you can do like just on the lamp here, like that, or you can do left corner of the vent, jump throw. This one bounces off the vent in a pretty weird way, lands in the corner. Even better, you can actually, if you have the right angle, run and smoke top of this line. This is not the right angle. I haven't done this for a while, but you can do this in a proper way, and it goes actually inside the door, like that. That is a much better door smoke, because it gives your team more space to play. Like we will see it when this smoke fades. Now the door smoke is inside door, which is much better. So yeah, the door guy's job is also to say when the door smoke is fading, because he's probably the only guy who has info on it, and he's also, if they do secret smokes, or if they can be secret, he is almost always the first rotation. The only case he's not the first rotation is, let's say your AWP player starts secret. Well, in that case, there's no reason for the door guy to rotate down, so that's something you have to pay attention to at the start of rounds. I didn't say this earlier, but very, very key. Outside rifle, what does he do? You can again pause, but I'll give you the answer now. His job is to block, with the help of the AWP player, all three outside spots. So there's secret, there's like CT yard, there's main, and he can take a lot of good positions. This one, for example, blocks outside yard, like outer yard, unless they jump from the main roof and around. So that's your door player needs to give this info if you hear someone jumping down. But he can block all this by himself, quite a good angle. He can play like CT blue on info here, or checking this sometimes. He can play inside main. He can play Baco. There's a ton of angles he can play, but his job is basically that. He's also like, if they go A, for example, he's in position to help A, hopefully. He could also start heaven, be jiggling secret and under heaven, while the orb is, I don't know, he could be holding this pixel angle, for example, holding main like this. Many possibilities, but he basically has to do that. And the orb, again, I gave you the answer. It's pretty obvious. The orb can honestly start everywhere. He can also take a peek ramp, he can push hot, he has a lot of freedom to try and go for openings, but in essence, if he doesn't go for an opening pick at the start of a round, he is with the outside rifle rotate, like the electronic type player, blocking secret, outer yard, and main. I'm sorry for saying things so many times over and over. Nuke is a very complex map. It took me a long time to go through all this, but I think I've covered it very well. I think now, after watching this video, you are well equipped, and hopefully you've learned a thing or two. I would imagine for even like 2k elo players, 2.5k elo players, maybe even a lot of 3k elo players, because this is not the most played map and it's probably sort of the most complex. I would assume that there's a lot for you to learn. NUKE is a staple of the Danish CS community, and obviously I'm a Danish CS player who has played like at least a handful of times, I guess, at the top level in tournaments, and NUKE has always been one of my best maps. So I could definitely talk about this for many hours if that's something that you would like to see, or if you want to see me go through every single position in detail. Also something I could do. By now I've basically played everything except outside rifle rotate, I think. But yeah, guys, that's about it. I think the video is about 30-35 minutes, so I'm gonna leave you be. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do leave a like and a comment and subscribe. If you haven't, my name is NaToSaphiX, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.